What's going on, guys? Welcome to Ralph's Garage. Today I'm going to show you how to get your New Jersey permit to carry a handgun. So as a lot of you probably know, the Supreme Court ruled on a New York case about their permits where they had justifiable need, and same situation as in New Jersey. We used to have to have some sort of justifiable need to carry a handgun. So almost no one could get a carry permit, and the Supreme Court ruled that that was a violation of the Second Amendment. So New Jersey had to change their process and get rid of the justifiable need. So now it's the same process that it was before, except you don't need that step of the justifiable need. So as long as you are not a felon, criminal, you haven't been institutionalized for a mental health reason, you have references that can vouch for you, and you can qualify on, well, if you can demonstrate safe handling of your firearm, you can get one of the coveted New Jersey permit to carry a handgun. So stick around. I'm going to walk you through the process and tell you about my experience as I got this permit. I was one of the first ones in my county, if not the first one. There may be another guy. We both picked our permit up on the same day. I'm not sure if he picked it up before me or after me, but between me and the other guy, we were the first ones in the county to get it. So this is very early on in the process. Today is September 6th, and I have been concealed carrying my pistol for 2 weeks now, every day. Phone, keys, wallet, gun. That's just the way it is now. So let me bring you through the process here. So when you go on newjersey.gov, I'm going to put links in the description because some of this stuff is really hard to find. But you're going to find an instruction sheet, and it looks like this. Go ahead and print this out, and as you complete a step, put a check through it. Right, so I'm just going to go through it step by step, and each step I'll tell you, how my experience was. Step 1, it says you must apply in person. If you're out of state, if you're an out-of-state resident and you're trying to get a Jersey carry permit, you're probably going to be at the back of the line. There's a lot of New Jersey residents that are trying to get this right now, but you're still eligible for it, so apply. You are supposed to go to the closest state police barracks to your residence, and not one that's on a toll road. So you're not going to do a barracks that's on the turnpike, because those are, I guess, they're occupied with turnpike stuff. So apply at a non-toll road state police barracks closest to your residence. In-state resident, which is my experience, it says to apply to your local police department. If you don't have a local police department, if your town is patrolled by the state police and you don't have, let's say if you lived in Stratford, New Jersey, and Stratford has their own police department, you're going to apply with Stratford. If Stratford does not have their own police department and they're patrolled by the state police, you're going to apply at the state police barracks that patrols your town. So whichever one that is. For me, I have a local police department here. I went down and applied at my local police department. They have a firearms clerk at my police department. They have a window that's just for purchase permits, firearm ID cards, and carry permits. So I went to that window. The ladies that worked behind there were super helpful to me. Obviously, when I first went there looking for information, it was just days after the Bruin case in New York was ruled on, and no one knew anything. They expressed that no one knew anything, so I got as much information as I could online and continued my application. So the next thing you're going to want to get is you want your driver's license and birth certificate, or driver's license and passport, or driver's license and naturalization paperwork / green card. So you have to have a driver's license. If you don't have a driver's license, you cannot have a New Jersey permit to carry a handgun, because the only way that you can do it is with a driver's license. So either birth certificate, passport, or green card. I submitted my birth certificate and my driver's license. The next thing is your New Jersey application for permit to carry a handgun. This is form SP 642. So it looks like this. There's going to be a link in the description that'll take you right to this form. As of the time of me recording this, the most recent form revision, if you look at the bottom left side of the sheet here, it says Rev 0722. So this was revised July of 22. Originally, the one that I had printed out and filled out was the older version, and there was one of these check blocks here. One of these questions was your justifiable need. So once I saw that there was a newer revision out, I just put my information on the new one and use that to submit. A couple things about this: you need to print 3 of these out, and you also need to print it front and back. So the second page, make sure that you print it on the back. Don't print it on a second sheet. Your application will get kicked back for that. So print front and back, 3 copies. I highly suggest, this is a blank one, but I highly suggest filling in all the information on the computer and then printing it. You can even do that for your references. This is the reference section on the back. You can fill, if you know who your reference is going to be when you're filling it out, you can get their information and type it all in, and all they have to do is sign and date. So then the notary, a lot of people ask this question: does the notary need to be present when my references sign? No. Your references, they're signing, putting their information. If the investigator that's doing your background check chooses to contact them, they will. But you do not need to have them present when you get this notarized. This bottom section on the second page on the back is the notary area, this block right here. So your notary is going to be in this area. I had this happen to me. My notary started filling out their information here, which is the court area. Luckily, I caught it very early, and we were able to flip it over and notarize in the correct area. So your notary is going to be on the back at the bottom. And they do not, your references do not need to be present. Only you need to be present when the notary notarized it. I had my references all signed this, and then I went to the notary and we stamped it when it's done. I think that's probably the best way to go, because you're notarizing a complete document at that point. If there's empty signature blocks, maybe the notary will give you a hard time. My notary was pretty cool, so I think that's a case-by-case basis. But that's the deal with this. 3 copies of this. Your references, make sure that they sign all 3 copies. I almost left one of my references only signed 1. I ended up talking to him for a while, and right before I left, I was looking at the paper, and I was like, oh, you only signed 1. So make sure they sign all 3. The next thing that you need is 4 color passport photos. A lot of people have questions about this. And the question comes from here on the bottom of the application for permit to carry. It says photograph of applicant 1.5 by 1.5 inches. So this is for the court. This bottom block is for the court. So don't just pretend like it doesn't say that. The court is going to trim your photo down and fit it there. What you have to submit is what's asked for on the instruction sheet, which is a color passport photo. Passport photos are 2 by 2. So you're going to submit 4 color passport photos. I got mine at like a Walgreens or a Rite Aid. I forget which one. I think it was a Walgreens. So just go get your passport photo taken and submit them. The next thing is the consent for mental health search, form SP 066. SP 066 looks like this. It's a one-page document. There's nothing on the back. You're going to fill in all your information on here. I had my notary stamp this and was my witness to me signing this. It doesn't say that this needs to be notarized. I had it notarized just because it can't hurt. and I needed a witness anyway, so I had it notarized. On this form, you're only going to fill out part 1, which is this top section. These bottom 2 sections are, it says it right here, it's going to be completed by the county adjuster's office and to be completed by an authorized doctor. So you're not going to need any of this. Just be prepared. You're going to need your addresses for the past 10 years. Luckily, past 10 years, I've only had 2 addresses, so it was easy for me. But if you move around a lot, if you've apartment hopping, you're going to have a lot. The next step is after the mental health search, you're going to need written proof of ownership and qualification with the handguns you intend to carry. So for written proof of ownership, I used my receipt from when I picked my firearms up from the FFL for each pistol. I had my receipt for each pistol. I photocopied that. I included it. If you don't have those documents, there are some people who have gone back to the FFL and said, hey, I need a receipt for the pistol that I bought from you 5 years ago. And I've heard stories of certain FFLs charging people like $100 to get a copy of their receipt, which that should be illegal. They're just trying to get money from you. Don't pay that money. Go home and Google search Affidavit of Ownership, and you'll find like a template that says like, I such and such own the following pistols, and it lists, you're going to list the make, model, and serial number of your pistols that you own. You're going to sign that, and you're going to get that notarized. That will count. You can include that with your application. The next thing is qualification with the handguns. So this qualification must be within 6 months of the application, and it must include the instructor's name and certification, make, model, caliper, and serial number of the handgun that you intend to carry. You're going to want to qualify. So what I did, I was waiting for so this is another thing that people ask. Can you add a pistol to your permit after the fact? Yes, you can. I have already done that, and I've only had my permit for 2 weeks, and I had a pistol added within days. It's a simple process. You take your qualification sheet and your proof of ownership, you submit it to your police department, and you ask them to have your permit updated. They will forward that to the judge that issued your permit, and the judge will amend your court order to add that pistol to it. It took, I think, 4 days, and I had an extra pistol added. Your experience may vary. If you live in a non-Second Amendment friendly county, it's probably going to take longer, a lot longer. Be prepared for that. Even though we all are following the same laws, certain judges in certain counties are definitely more friendly to Second Amendment or anti-Second Amendment or pro-Second Amendment, and maybe they drag their feet, maybe they put more restrictions, because there is a stipulation in the law that the judge can place additional restrictions at the judge's discretion. So the qualification, I did the what is it called? The HQ. It's the state police qualification, the HQC1. I think I'll put text in there on the exact name of the qualification I took. I took that qualification with an NRA certified firearms instructor. I got a certificate. The certificate listed my make, model, caliber, and serial number pistol. All that information that they want. The instructor's certificate number, signature, date, all that. I took that and I put it in my folder with all my papers that I've been collecting. Do yourself a favor, get yourself a folder, and as you're building your application, put it in a folder. The next step is you're going to get a money order. $50 money order for the Treasurer State of New Jersey. At that point, once you have all of that, you're ready to take your folder that you've built and go to your police department and submit your application. There's another requirement, but you have to get this information from the police department, and this is something that maybe you want to go to I would go in person to the police department. Those phones are ringing off the hook right now. and the person standing at the window is going to get more attention than the phone that won't stop ringing. So go in person, be courteous, be polite. These people that are working at these police departments in the firearms department are flooded with questions and applications and incomplete applications and just people running off of misinformation that they read on the internet, all that stuff. So know that if they get a little snippy with you, they probably had 10 people before you that got snippy with them. So just give them a little leeway. Know that they're doing a hard job right now, and be kind and courteous. That a lot of times when you do that, it gets reciprocated back, and you'll have a better experience anyway. And you should be kind and courteous anyway. So go there and ask them before you start this process. Go there and ask them if you can get there's a code that they have to give you. It's like a bunch of numbers and letters, and you're going to have to get fingerprinted, even if you already have a firearms ID card. Because I have a firearms ID card, and it has my fingerprint right on it. I've been fingerprinted a whole bunch of times, and I still have the same fingers. So I don't understand why I need to be fingerprinted again, but it's part of the process. So just, if you want the card, if you want to carry, this is what you have to do in the state of New Jersey. Go get that code from the police department. If they will give it to you before you submit your completed application, awesome, because you're going to need that code to make an appointment. And you have to make that appointment with a company called Identico. And you can just Google that. I'll put a link to Identico in the description as well. You're going to go on there and you're going to make an appointment. And this is a sticking point because a lot of people are getting fingerprinted in New Jersey right now. So when I did mine, I did it early July. And I think the Identico down the street from me, the closest one, didn't have appointments for 3 months. And this was only a few days after the Supreme Court made their ruling. So what I did was I went to an Identico in Philadelphia, which is out of state, and I had a next day appointment with them. The catch with that is you are going to have to pay, it's like a $30 out of state fee. I guess they have to pay their internet bill to transfer their stuff over from Pennsylvania. I don't know. But to me, it was worth the $30 because I would still be waiting for my fingerprint appointment today. So I went and I got a next day appointment. I got fingerprinted. Boom. So how that worked with me is I submitted my application to my police department. They gave me the code. A buddy of mine went to his police department before he had his packet ready and asked if he could have the code, and they gave him the code. So you can kind of get a head start by going to the police department, and if they will give you the code before you submit your application, great. If they tell you that you have to submit the application in order to get the code, then go finish your packet, submit it, and make your appointment for as soon as possible. And if you're willing to pay the $30, I highly suggest going out of state to an Identico that's out of state. You can get appointments a lot faster that way. $30 to me is worth it. I've wasted more money on less important things in my life. So once you do that, you're done. You've submitted your application. So timeline of the permit. I submitted my application. I think July 11th was when I dropped my application off at the local police department. About 30 days after, I got a letter. I got CC'd on a letter that was my police chief recommending approval to the judge and sending my application to the judge. Maybe 4 or 5 days after that, I got a response from the judge's office stating, the message has been received. This is the date. So I had a court date scheduled. The court date was 45 days from when I dropped the application off, like I said. It was an online Zoom. The judge had me turn my camera on when it was my turn to come up, and He asked his legal clerk if there was any legal reason that I couldn't carry a firearm. The legal clerk said no. The judge then, my local police chief was also on the call. The judge turned to the local police chief, asked him for his findings on the investigation. Police chief recommended approval, and he deemed my permit approved. At that point, he asked me if I had any questions, and I asked the question that I had was, hey, I recently purchased a firearm that I intend on carrying. How do I add it to the, what's the process to add the pistol to the permit? And he told me exactly that. He said, just send us over qualification sheet and proof of ownership. He didn't even say proof of ownership. He just said qualification sheet, but just assume that those go hand in hand. If you're adding a pistol, you have to show proof of ownership. It's in the original application as a requirement, so I just did that. So on my court date was on a Thursday. On Friday, I went to the police department and I dropped off my qualification sheet and my proof of ownership for my second firearm, for my 365. The next Monday, I got a call 8:30 in the morning ish from the police department. It was the firearms clerk, and she said, "Hey, your permit's ready for pickup." So I went down. I picked up my permit. I was a little disappointed at the fact that what I got was this was flat. I'll include a picture here, but this was flat, and I had to trim it down a little bit, and I had to re-glue my picture on because it wasn't glued on very well, and then I had to laminate it. So this is one thing that does bug me, and I'll show you why. Regular credit card size, and you can see, I'll just cover up the info, but you'll see the difference. So this doesn't fit in my freaking wallet, which is annoying because one of the requirements is you have to carry this anytime you're carrying a firearm. So now I have my wallet. So now I have to carry my wallet and this, and it's like way bigger. I'm complaining, but I'm not complaining, you know. So hopefully they come out with like a plastic card that fits in a wallet that's standard credit card size. Monday I picked up my permit, right? Monday morning. I think it was Thursday after I picked up my permit. So 4 days later, I got a call actually got an email from the judge's office with an amended court order, and it was CC'd to the police chief. Here's an amended order showing that I can carry both my SIG P320 and my 365. It lists them by serial number, make, model, and caliper, and all that. And he also added a paragraph that shows the process to add a pistol, which wasn't in there under the original court order. So I thought that was pretty interesting that he kind of set a precedence of this is how you add it. It's in writing in a court order. That is pretty much the process. I personally had no real problems getting my permit, and as far as the local police department was great. The firearms clerks that work there, I think it's 2 girls that work in the office there, they were great and always helpful. Carry safe and enjoy yourselves. And if you are on my channel because of the automotive content, stick around, because there's 3 LSs in a row here that are all getting worked on, and the BMW doesn't have an engine in it right now. I got an update video coming out for that. If you like the firearm stuff, drop a comment and let me know, and subscribe to the channel, and maybe I'll make some more firearms. I was thinking about doing the Dickens drill. I know a lot of people have done that already. I kind of missed the boat on that because I was out of the country for a little while. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Good luck with getting your permits, and if you have any questions, post them in the comments, and when I see it, I'll come back and answer a question if I can. And if you need a link for anything, make sure you look in the description. I'm gonna have a link for all the forums and the forms that you need, and then also I'll link the qualification that I took. you don't necessarily have to take that same qualification. Just remember, they're looking for a qualification sheet with a certified instructor. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the state police qualification. It doesn't have to be the qualification I took or a qualification that someone else took. It doesn't have to be some expensive concealed carry course that some place is offering. You just need to go shoot, demonstrate safe handling of the firearm, and you need to generally hit your targets. And at that, I will let you all go. You have a good one. See ya.